Okay. I'm just gonna clean these Colecovision games here. Oh, pretty nasty looking. Especially this one. It's got like some real crud on it. I don't really want to, but you know, the only choice is to probably cut a small hole so I can put the screwdriver in. Most part, it's not too bad on certain games. Burger Time, the sticker's in good condition, but you can see the holes. There's sinking in here, bubbling there. These ones have already ripped. These are highly visible. I'd rather be able to clean the contacts than preserve the label completely, and when the label itself is kind of partially disintegrated in most cases. I'd really suggest an X-Acto knife, but don't think I have one. I couldn't find one, so I'm just going to use this rather sharp steak knife. Same basic technique. Punch a hole. I'm just going to go with the classic X or plus pattern, so the screwdriver can push the tabs down and go through. So you just want an elegant hole to remove the screws through. Not a very good design, really. Oops. Gotta be a bit more precise than I am. Like I said, an X-Acto knife would work a lot better. You can see I exposed the regular screw there. Phillips head, I guess. Ended up bending the tabs outward rather than inward. Anyway, Phillips screw. I can get at it now. So I'm going to need a smaller screwdriver. Yeah, it's coming out now. I ended up using a finer tipped screwdriver. Anyway, let's open her up. Okay, we're going to have to bend the sticker at the top slightly. There's a board. Let's just pop that out and we'll clean that. Not too bad. I think I'll do like a, just like that. Create kind of a door hinge situation. Let's not stress it too much. I can clean it now anyway. I tend to use a pencil eraser. It really does work. Usually going in a diagonal fashion seems to give it the most cleaning ability. I just put it down on a something because of the pins so you don't scratch your surfaces, and you just press down on top usually and then just kind of rub away. I'm also just going to use a magic eraser on the actual cart shells themselves. A bit more vigorous on the plastic. Since some of these stickers aren't in such hot shape, I'm probably just going to use like a moist magic eraser on there. Not too much water, and lightly clean that as much as I can. So like I said, it's mostly just about getting good contacts. Didn't go as well as I'd hoped. The Stickers are really not water resistant at all. It's sucked up like a sponge, and kind of split right here. But got it back together. Got all the 30-year-old dust out of there. No, geez, just came off there. I'm gonna have to probably glue that back on again. You can see the bracket in here. Got a lot of ribbing to give it strength, I guess. It's really not a good design. See the way we had the poles or stocks? You know, these should be on the cover side, and then you put the screws into the back and into the poles that would be here. And you don't have to damage the label at all taking the screws out of it. Yeah. Yeah, as far as this label, I guess if it had like a L bracket, then the label would be undisturbed here. Yeah. Anyway, just polished up the contacts on the board here. Took the eraser to it. I took most of it off. And I went with a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol and to sort of vigorously polish it up a bit. Took a black Sharpie pen to it. Try to blacken out the screws a bit, make them a little less obvious. Also touched up the top discoloration with a Sharpie a bit. It's nice that it's all black, I could say that much. Still a rather poor shell design on their part. On Coleco's part. Still, I'm happy to have a clean cartridge that I can maintain in the future. Yeah, it came out okay. This has the worst one. The Donkey Kong. Still need to glue the tops down. But pretty much went over the whole thing with the Sharpie. Not too good here and there. I was kind of tired today. My hand wasn't that steady. But black Sharpie does a pretty good job of just glossing it up a little more, back to its original luster. Maybe I could print up some new labels for it or something. Those labels are pretty bad. The modern printer is pretty sophisticated these days, you know, with the photo printing and so forth. Just got this a while ago. It's in the kitchen right now. I was just cleaning the dust off of it. It's in the kitchen because having the carpets cleaned. Just a little maintenance here and there. Okay, time to take this thing apart. Guess we'll just start with the case screws. Get these things out. Let's see. Yeah, the case screws are pretty basic. They're just visible. Looks like I could use a new felt foot for this thing here. Yeah, missing a felt foot, or is it rubber? No, it's rubber. Could use a new rubber foot. Okay, here comes the fun part. Now, there are two ways to get this thing open. One is to take off this sticker here, which I don't want to do. Get the screws underneath to take the faceplate off, or you can do the sort of gripping and prying technique that gripping or plying technique. I'll include a link to a video. A guy basically describes how you do it. It's a technique to it. Yeah. Anyway, got it open. Like I said, I'll include the link. I had to go watch the video and just mimic what he was doing to get it open. Anyway, the as it came down to the usually when you get like bad video and sound, funny enough, it can often be just a power switch. So I'm going to try well, cleaning, sort of rebuilding it like a carburetor, see if that does any good. If that doesn't, then I'll just have to put a new power switch in here. That's what a lot of people do, because the switch is not so hot. So I just put a, a modern easy switch on there. But we'll see how this goes. Well, I'm in luck. The solder point on the RF shield is not actually connected, so I can just take it right off. I'll probably have to resolder that to the ground there again, but for now that's much easier. That's interesting. That doesn't look original. Well, maybe it is. It's a really old tape. I think it says DM something. Anyway, here's a sort of the main event. And something about its mechanical nature actually makes it affect sound and video. I had some silicone spray for screen doors that my brother-in-law lent me, but said it was flammable, so I'm just going to clean the switch out, but I don't have any non-conductive silicone grease to put it back into here again. And you see little tabs there. Gather I have to pop those up, and then the switch assembly comes apart. First things is to probably just going to clean the case itself, soap and water. That's just taking me forever, but let's see. Well, got the prongs up at least on this switch here. I need to basically pull that off, but it's soldered in, or I'm gonna have to heat these. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. I have to heat these up here, and then it'll pop right out, and I can get at the mechanics of the switch. Finally open up my soldering gun kit here. I haven't even used it yet. Anyway, got it off. I would have shown you me actually taking it off, but it's been a long time since I actually did this. I had to add some solder to this point here, because it just was not melting, and the whole thing was just getting too hot. Look, there's a generous traces around there. So anyway, that's our culprit. Looks actually quite worn out. The other parts here. Yeah. Breaking out the eraser. I'm gonna try to clean it that way. I wouldn't recommend doing it this way. I've left it, on here, and you really should take it off if you. I'm just noticing I really need a rod or a soldering wand, something with a smaller point. This is pretty good, but it is quite large, and what it does is you put a lot more strength and weight into it. You tend to overstress these tiny little components. That's why the smaller ones tend to be better for the smaller things, but larger ones are just fine for big wires and big soldering things here. And here's just a comparison. One I've been polishing up with an eraser and the kind of crap that builds up on these power switches. And it's amazing what a simple pencil eraser can do to a lot of these carbon, I think it's carbon, carbon buildups. Yeah, you can see I got them pretty shiny. I think it's some sort of oxidation anyway, but nonetheless, you can see it's completely dry, and the dielectric grease is it just dries out completely. I think that explains why it's the middle contacts here are so worn. I'm going to take my time on this, though. I'm going to maybe give the whole board a alcohol bath or something. So there's quite a bit of dirt here and there. Well, dust, basically. See some wear in the cartridge slot for some reason. I don't know, rough handling. Maybe I'll file that down. Or something called deoxit that you can apply to the cartridge slot and clean it out. Might look into getting some of that. Yeah, might as well do as much as I can to it while I got it open. Yeah, scrub the board with some alcohol. Got a fair amount of dust off of it already. So I'll let that dry out. I think I'll maybe come back to the switch here. Just gonna leave it like this for now and go clean the controllers. I could use a cleaning. Yeah, these things are easy. These things are easy to lose. Be careful with those. Yeah, can't complain about these. They work just fine, but could use a cleaning nonetheless. Got the screws out. Let's pop it open. Okay, let's do this careful like, because I never done this before. Okay, what is holding it? Oh, okay, we got like a little. Oh, I'll take that off there so you can see it. Sort of a hooking mechanism there that it locks into. Yeah, keypad. Let's see. I better double check on that. It's wired completely in or not. Yeah, not too bad. These look okay. Look like they're in decent shape. Yeah. Yeah, got some gunk on here, I guess. Bit of dust. Spring here. I wonder if it's one of those. Probably is. It's probably like the screw is like underneath this thing. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to clean around it. Yeah. Now let's use like a toothbrush or small brush to clean it out. Now we got the boards, switches. does that come out? Oh, okay. Just pull upward a little. Alright, taped in. And we got some connectors here. Yeah, this is not very disassembly friendly in a way. So we got some pliers here. Okay. Yeah, these look like they come off. I'm just gonna try it. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. I'll just put it back on again. Yeah, these come off. So basically, I'm going to write like a. See if I get those off, and I can just pull it through the case here. It's like color-coded wires, so I'm going to have to make myself a chart here so I can get it back to where it was. And you can see it's already starting to fatigue here. Starting to crack. That's what happens. Anyway, these just pop right off there. I should have looked that up first when I did that, but oh well. This pops right out too. Yeah. That should make it easier to clean. You see, you got some scratches on here. I don't know where that's come from, but can't think of anything that would. It's down there. No, I have no idea what. Where these looks like fine little gouges in here, scratches. Well, I'm gonna. Yeah, let's take these off. Just make myself a little back of the. Well, I'm looking at the back of the circuit board. And we got basic colors: dark green, blue, gray, dark red, light green, beige, and red. At least that's what I think they look like. Basically, let's see, GN. I think it's a GN on there. Basically, you just start there and then you just kind of. Some of these are a little loose. I could crimp them a bit more. Okay. All cleaned up, and just gonna thread this back in again. There we go. Fresh piece of Scotch tape. Supposed to just to hold it in place, and jump around. Nuts. There. Okay, scratch that. You should probably put these things on before you tape it down, just to get the right order again. Also, I squeeze this thing to make it hold better, and then the side broke off, so I'm gonna have to get a new one of these things. That is a pain. No, through the magic of editing, I got some dielectric tune-up grease from Canadian Tire. Yeah, most people, they just replace the switch entirely, but I wanted to try fixing it. Yeah. I think is about as clean as I can get it without using some contact cleaner. Anyway, you're just supposed to apply a liberal amount to all your contacts. It's sticking to it. Yeah. So it's an irritant. Maybe I should get like get something to put that on there. I'm back in a second. Okay, I got a trusty toothpick now. That should make it a bit easier. It's actually quite sticky, this stuff. There. Some on, probably a bit too much, but I was gonna say this wasn't too dirty, but I said contact cleaner or even a WD-40 probably would. It's interesting stuff, dielectric grease. It's non-conductive, which is kind of like the word inflammable. It's often misunderstood. It prevents voltage loss and arcing. Basically, it's the only kind of grease you can apply to an electrical circuit that won't make it short out. Get it back together, crimp the sides. Switch moves a hell of a lot easier now. Just need to solder it back into place underneath, and now you'll give it a try. Okay, got it soldered back in there, and I'd say fair. That's how I fared now. Moderately good. Yeah, problem with old solder is solder is I don't think it's anything to do with age. I think some of them are like mostly lead based, and then they're really hard to melt, so you have to add some to get it to flow. Okay, let's see if it did any good. Damn. Nope. Still got the same problem. Maybe it's a switch here. Let me. Well, that sucks. That didn't work. Guess I'll be moving on to capacitors and other common repairs to the Coleco. Okay. Well, I learned something new today. The Nintendo RF adapter does not work with the Colecovision. I don't know if it creates too much interference, but anyway, I swapped it out for a generic RCA cable with a coaxial adapter, and anyway, we're back to square one. So anyway, anyway, back to where we were. I don't regret refurbishing the switch a bit, because it was getting really hard to move in the first place. I heard somebody say that given the RF, alcohol scrub couldn't hurt it, so I did that. Well, I think I'm just going to put it back together now. That's about as far as I can get it. I think I'll leave the RF shield. I think I'll leave the shield unsoldered, soldered on these points on the board, just in case I want to do a AV mod later. And be a lot easier to take it apart again then. But switch moves really nice now. It was really hard to move before, so it was still worth the time. Anyway, got it together. Came out pretty nice. Get a good scrub, get all that dust and stuff out of these grooves. So I had to take the service number sticker off. Wasn't really in that great a shape anyway, and I really think it was really just supposed to be temporary anyway, because it wasn't the most durable sticker. This one was quite dirty and starting to fray. Still a little tacky. Need to get some Goo Gone, or what did I discover? That skin. What is that? Skin astringent, you know, for acne and whatnot. That can take glue off pretty good. It's just like a mild acid too. No, couldn't find any like wire connectors that were small enough for these things. I did discover that the up doesn't work on my other controller here, so probably gonna have to do the old plug in a Genesis into the first and plug this into the second, because the keypad still works and I need that to get the games going. Yeah, I don't think I'll be refurbishing this one yet until I find some connectors for the other one, just in case. So I'll make sure this one's working for the time being. Anyway, decided to pick up a new game for the Colecovision. Went to, what was it, Mostly Music in Port Coquitlam. They say Mostly Music, but seems like I mean, they still have a music section, but they got pretty much more of everything else, though. Yeah. Yeah, my cousin knows a guy that works there. He's got quite a bit of interesting things to sell. And I got this for $7 there. It's in decent shape. It's probably the nicest Colecovision cartridge I have at the moment. Anyway, I got Ladybug here. Yeah, pretty good game. Yeah, it's like your Pac-Man clone, but it's got its, gameplay, unique gameplay elements. So, it can stand on its own and not just be compared to Pac-Man like a lot of those clones were. They were just exact copies of Pac-Man. What was it? Over that Atari age, somebody had made Ladybug for the Atari 2600. That's a homebrew that they were selling. That was a pretty good port. Obviously, this one's probably a little better, of course, because it's it's an arcade game of of that era. So the porting usually goes a bit smoother on the Coleco.